and then my life slowly started spiralling out of control. Ecstasy, cocaine, weed, party drugs were my thing. But when I hit 21 years old, I met a Canadian girl, got married. She had a daughter called Madison who was 3 years old from a previous relationship. So I became a dad and a husband. Fell in love, there's no two ways about that, but we were my wife's got a past as well, I won't go into that, that's for her to share, but we were two messed up people that fell in love. And I was a functioning drug addict, like a functioning alcoholic. But I hadn't dealt with my trauma that I'd been through. This is what I've been assessing over the past 2.5 years. And I was doing drugs and things while I was married. I ended up becoming unfaithful to my wife many times. I got addicted to sex as well. And I was going cruising and dogging. One other thing I wanted to say to you as well is that I'm going to be completely honest with you today. I believe that's what Jesus wants me to do, is be completely honest with you guys. Now, I've given my testimony on a couple of occasions already, but this one is special to me because we've all suffered with addiction. So I was going cruising, dogging. Sexuality is something that I've struggled with for 42 years, up until 2.5 years ago. I didn't know whether I was gay, straight, bi, I didn't know what I was. And I didn't know why I was like that. I kept thinking to myself, why am I like this? What is wrong with me? And it all stems from the abuse, that trauma that I was subjected to at a very, very young age, 6 or 7 years old. So yes, scooting forward through all of that to 2.5 years ago, I found out that my wife was being unfaithful. Of course, at first I was angry, but then I thought to myself, what right have I got to be angry with her? Because I've cheated many, many times, lost count of how many times I've been unfaithful to my wife. But God brought it all to a crashing halt. I found out she was being unfaithful, and I just believe he brought us both to a point where he said, you know, you've got two paths here, both of you. You can go down the path of divorce and lose everything, or you can fight for your marriage and your family and give Jesus a try. You know, I've been living my mum and dad's faith for 42 years. It wasn't my own. I believed in God and I didn't believe in God. You know, I'd never really had my own experience with Jesus. And that started 2.5 years ago. You know, he's gradually been healing all that trauma that happened to me. I was teased relentlessly as well. I'm dyslexic. In them days, you were just, I was put in a classroom with mentally handicapped kids. You know, there was, you know, just get them out of the way, shoving with them, and that was that. So there was a lot of teasing, a lot of bullying, a lot of abuse, a lot of teasing in church as well. A lot of damage was done to me in church. To be honest with you, a lot of the worst damage was done to me in church, believe it or not. But yeah, I'm losing my trail of thought, sorry. But yeah, coming to 2.5 years ago, July of 2021, that's when it all came to a head. And Jesus exposed both of our sin, my sin, my wife's sin. And I just poured out my heart to my wife and told her everything that I'd been doing, spoke to her about my sexuality, things I've been up to, and we both just started pouring our hearts out to each other. She told me stuff about herself as well that I never knew, and the healing process started. I just want to show you a picture as well of, I've shown a couple of the guys this, but what I looked like 2.5 years ago, so we'll just, if you don't, is that alright? Yeah, that's me, excuse me, I'm holding some cheese up, it looks like, well, you can tell. Yeah. That's me 2.5 years ago. Wow. So I was 10 stone, so about 5.5 stone lighter than what I am now. So yeah, I was in a bad way, but I gave my life to Jesus for the first time, really gave it to him, handed over everything to Jesus, and that's when the healing started. But something still wasn't right. I wasn't feeling good. I was getting ill all the time, getting sick. And I said to my wife, I said, we both need to go and get ourselves checked out because we've both been with other people. And she was okay, but I had multiple blood tests done and it came back I was HIV positive. So that was like another wham, you know. I was told over the phone and I felt like my legs had been cut off from the knees. I thought I was going to die, and what felt like an eternity on the phone was probably, 5 seconds. And the nurse said to me, "You're going to be fine, you're going to be okay. It's easily manageable now." And it is, I'm on 1 pill a day. But after that, I've got a heart for people, I always have done. And especially a heart for guys like yourself, people that are suffering with addiction, whatever your drug of choice is, booze, drugs. And I want to do something. My past has always been manual labour jobs. I've never had a job I like, but I want my future to be different. I want to show people there's another way, a better way, and that's Jesus. And he's changed my life over the past 2.5 years in ways I can't describe. If you know me, doing this is way out of my comfort zone, way out of my comfort zone. And I don't really want to do it, but I'm doing it because I know Jesus wants me to do it. He wants me to share what he can do in your life. And if you give yourself to him completely, he can do things in your life that you never thought would be possible. Like 2.5 years ago, I was in a real bad way, drugged up to the eyeballs. Now I'm standing in front of you fine fellas, sharing my story. But yeah, I want my future to be helping people, helping addicts, and I've got a heart for people that are living with HIV as well, because there's so much stigma attached to HIV, and there shouldn't be. It's just a virus. I take 1 pill a day. I take less pills than my dad. He's on multiple pills for multiple things. But,
thanks for that.
I think it's what drives me in the gym. I'm 44 years old, and I'm not boasting, but in the gym I attend, I train harder than lads that are half my age. When they train with me, they're on the floor vomiting. Because I train hard, and I just want to show other people that are living with HIV and other addicts what's possible. I went from 10 stone to 15.5 stone. I actually went up to 16.5 stone, but I've lost a bit of weight since then. I just want to show people what's possible if you just invite Jesus in your life. Give yourself to him completely. Give him a try. You guys are in here now. You've got an amazing opportunity to change your life. You've got amazing facilities. I'm jealous, very jealous, especially of the gym. But you've got a real opportunity here to change your life for the better. We've got one life and one body, and it's up to you what you do with it. But I really want to encourage you guys today to make this the last time that you come to a place like this. Because 2.5 years ago, I thought my life was done. I thought it was in the toilet. I thought I was going to die. And I spoke to my specialist and I said, if I went undiagnosed, how long would I have lasted? And they said, you probably would have had about another 1.5 years. I was close to having full-blown AIDS. So HIV is the virus, AIDS is the condition of HIV. So when your immune system drops below a certain level, you're then classified as having full-blown AIDS. Now you can still recover from that, but there's no guarantees. The medication now is amazing. But I'll live just as long as anyone else, if not longer. People now in the UK that are living with HIV, if they're on treatment, on average live 18 months longer than people without HIV. That's how far HIV has come. But like I said, the stigma that is attached to it is worse than the virus. It's the stigma now that's killing people living with HIV, not HIV. So, but anyway, yeah, I think that's really just about it. But yeah, if is there anyone who wants to ask me anything? No, we've got a lot of time left. If any of you want to ask me any questions.
Might be good that you share that it can't be spread by just touching people's
Yes,
hands.
sorry, yes. I'm what's called undetectable. So the drugs that I'm on one pill a day. There's 3 drugs in one pill. So that puts the virus to sleep in the body. So HIV cannot be passed through, even if I wasn't on medication, it can't be passed through touch, kissing. It can only be passed through blood and sebum. But now I'm on medication, it puts the virus to sleep in the body. So even if I had unprotected sex with someone, it cannot be passed on. It's impossible. So that's the advancements in the medication. You can't pass it on anymore. They call it U equals U. Undetectable equals untransmittable. Now a lot of people can't accept that. You know, they're still terrified of it, but it's just not the case anymore. So yeah, that's it. Short and sweet. If anyone wants to ask me anything, you know, please feel free.
Was your wife? Did you both get saved at the same time? Did you both start a relationship with Jesus at the same sort of time?
Yeah, my wife comes from Canada, so she became a Christian in Canada. She had, I'm sure she won't mind me sharing this, but she had a background of abuse as well. Had a terrible upbringing. Her dad abused her for many years. Raped her pretty much every day, up until she was 18 years old. So we both had a lot of trauma in our past. Very similar past in a way. I'm not going to discuss her status. I'm not saying she's HIV positive. I'm not saying she isn't. That's for her to say. But yeah, but she's a Christian as well. We both go to church together. Our lives now are, you know, we were going like that for many years, going in different directions because we've got 5 children, 4 girls, 1 boy. So we had kid after kid after kid. When we got together, we had a child, Madison, who came from a previous relationship, but she's my daughter.
Yeah.
She's just as much mine as my other 4 children. But we were going like that for many years. We didn't have blazing rows or anything like that. We were just going in different directions, you know. I was living a single life because I was just looking for any excuse to get out of the house and get high. So she was left at home with the kids. And I was out living a single life really, even though I was married. So I don't blame her for having an affair, you know, that's on me because of the way I was living. I take responsibility for that. But now, you know, I can't describe how good my life is now. I've got a peace in my life that I never ever thought I would have. I never thought was possible. You know, Jesus has been healing all of that harm that was done to me, all the harm I've done to myself as well. And I've been understanding who I am and discovering who I am and having my own faith, not living my mum and dad's faith. So, yeah.
Tell them a little bit, Pete. I know your dad and that, but your battle against ending the stigma for HIV and how you began that on social media platforms and the impact that's had on things like TikTok and other.
When I got diagnosed with HIV, obviously I'm one of these people who likes to research things and find things out for myself. So I started researching HIV and trying to understand my condition as best I could. And I started listening to other people's stories that have been diagnosed with HIV around the world. You know, we're lucky in the UK, we've got access to all the treatment and medication that we need. But how awful some people were being treated. I went to Africa in 2007 with my dad, and I had the pleasure of going to 2 orphanages, one run by the Catholic Church, one run by the local people, and all these children had HIV or full-blown AIDS. Their parents had died from it, so they had nowhere to go, so they went into orphanages. And sadly, most of them children are probably dead now. And it just breaks my heart, you know, having HIV myself, and seeing how people with HIV are being treated around the world, and in this country as well, sadly, stigma. And I've suffered that myself, but I'm a strong person, so it doesn't really affect me, you know. But I thought I've got to do something. I can't just sit by and do nothing and stay quiet. And my medical professional was advising me not to come out about my status, because I think she was worried about how it would be received, you know, that I might get abuse of some form. But I just felt Jesus, I felt so strongly in me that he wanted me to do something. And it wasn't something I did lightly, I prayed about it for a long time, you know. I only came out about my diagnosis in December of last year on World AIDS Day. And so I thought, what can I do? So I went onto social media. I started with a TikTok page to start with, and I started putting up videos of me just training in the gym, but it came with a message, you know, so it'd be me there, I don't know, doing bicep curls or something like that. The purpose of it was just to show what a person living with HIV can do. And because we're viewed as being sickly and weak, you know. So it would come with a message, you know, there'd be some words coming up, and it just exploded. You know, my TikTok page has now got 22,000 followers. Instagram as well is growing, YouTube. So that is the start, and I'm on this journey now of discovering what it is Jesus wants me to do. I'm still not 100% sure, but this is a start, you know. It's just showing what your life can be like with Jesus, you know, in your life. You know, I got to such a low point, you know, where I thought it was all a load of rubbish, I'll be honest with you. I thought it was all a load of nonsense. That's how I never ever thought I would get to that point, but I did. But he has flipped it all around. And I love that song that my dad put on there, because the first time I gave my testimony last November, that's the song I wanted on after my testimony. Waymaker, miracle worker, you know, promise keeper, light in the darkness. That is who he is. You know, and he's changed me completely. You know, I'm not very good at this sort of thing and getting my feelings across, but yeah, go for it.
How do you, being someone myself who's struggled with being a Christian and with my sexuality, how do you deal with it? Is that a daily thing for you, or it's just a process?
I think for me, I was trying to. I consider myself bi. I'll be honest with you. I am. I'm more into women, but I consider myself bi. And I was trying to rack my brains for many years, and I held this in. No one knew about this until all of this came out when I was 42. I'm 44 now. I thought, why am I like this? Why am I feeling these things, and why am I having these urges? You know, and for me, I think it comes from the abuse. You know, I believe that I was robbed at 6 or 7 years old of who I was meant to be. But this is who I am, you know, and I think for me, I've accepted who I am and the way I am, and just being able to speak about it to people has just lifted a weight off my shoulders, you know, that I can't describe. You know, I was going through torture really for a very long time, you know, because I was brought up in the 80s in church where being gay or being bi, you know, you don't talk about it, you know, and in a lot of churches, unfortunately, it's still like that now. The way gay people get treated or bi people get treated, I think is disgraceful, because church is a place, it should be for everyone. And what I've seen through, not all churches, you know, that would be wrong to say that, but some places, you know, I was talking to one guy that I did a podcast with in Los Angeles, a guy called Rafe Darazi. He's a gay guy who's HIV positive as well. He was doing a similar thing to me. He used to be a Christian. He's no longer a Christian. He's still got beliefs, but he was put in a gay conversion camp in America to try and rid him of his gayness. And it's just it's unbelievable, you know. It's like being put in a concentration camp, you know, and it's just unbelievable. You know, the way I look at it is you should welcome anyone in church and let Jesus do the work. Let Jesus work in people's lives. You know, you don't put them in camps, you know. So that's put him completely off church. He still believes in a higher power, but yeah, for me, I've just accepted the way I am. I've told everyone around me first. I told my wife, and now I'm telling you guys. You know, and it feels good. It feels very liberating. You know, to speak about all these things that I suppressed and hid for many years. The drugs, you know, sexuality, the unfaithfulness, and now I can stand there and I'm proud to say that I'm free from addiction. I get no cravings at all, no urges, and I've got no desire to go back to that life because I've got something so good now that I can't express, you know, such a peace in my life, and that's come about through giving my life to Jesus completely, every piece of it. So yeah, I hope that helps.
Brilliant.
Anything else?
What are the practical things you put in place, like to keep falling in love with Jesus every day? How do you maintain your
I
relationship?
give him the first part of my day every day. I get up at 6 o'clock every morning and have quiet time for an hour every day. When this change started in my life, this first day through physical fitness, I went to my sister's birthday party. As you can see in the picture I've just shown you, I'm very skinny and very gaunt. You know, I actually look worse than that. That was from 2018, that picture. I actually looked worse than that 2.5 years ago. But my sister said to me in front of everyone, there was, I don't know, 20 people there, Dad, something like that, at a birthday, and she said, "Oh, Pete, you're looking really gaunt." I was like, so how do you feel? I said, "You're looking very fat." You know, but then I thought, well, what am I going to do? Am I going to sit and cry me serial about it, or am I going to do something about it? So I got myself training at home to begin with, started doing push-ups, sit-ups, and when I built up my confidence, I got myself in the gym. So this change started, physical change, and then I gradually started getting myself in the Word, and I was going to the gym every morning first, and then coming home and having my quiet time, but what I was finding was when I got back from the gym, I was knackered. So I was sort of half-heartedly doing it. Then I thought, no, I've got to change this. So I thought, I've got to put Jesus first. So I started getting up in the morning, got up earlier than I was, and having my quiet times. I just got my head and my mind and my soul, everything in the Word of God. And the more I did that, the more I started to change. It wasn't boom, it changed like that 2.5 years ago. It didn't happen like that for me. I'm still on that journey now, 2.5 years down the road. And I think you stay on that journey, it doesn't stop. You stay on that journey until you take your last breath. You know. So yeah, I don't know. But yeah, getting to church, I got rid of all my old so-called friends. They weren't friends, they were just people I got high with. And when I started to change, you know, you can always tell a real friend because they'll encourage you to do what is good. They'll encourage you to stay away from the drugs, not, oh, do you fancy a spliff, Pete, or whatever. You know, so be careful who you associate with. You know, when you guys leave here and go back to your lives, stay away from your old life. Stay away from the people that you used to associate with, or I guarantee you'll end up back here again, or somewhere else, or in the nick. You know, stay away. You know, make new friends. People that really care about you. You know, so yeah. Anything else?
Great. Just going to pray with you.